Hello, BookTube, and welcome to Day 8 of May is for Magazines event. And today I'm going to read another article from Chambers Journal of Popular Literature, Science, and Art. It's a magazine that was started in 1832 in Edinburgh by William and Robert Chambers. It ran actually till 1956 with a few changes in a name along the way. Today's article I'm going to read is from Saturday, February the 8th, 1890. And it was a weekly journal, and it was 16 pages long. Today's article I'm reading is called Curious Collections. And I do apologize, the lights, I need the lights in order to see the pages, because the print is a bit faint on the page and small, so I do apologize. Curious Collections. The range for acquiring curiosities in any shape or form has at times assumed various peculiarities, and altogether the desire to possess bric-a-brac, or choice specimens of various articles, still occupies the minds of many at the present time. What the various crazes are, and the dimensions which have characterized them, doubtless everyone is perfectly cognizant, and to what end they can serve is beyond our comprehension. The schoolboy is particularly fond of gathering together choice odds and ends, and were he asked to turn out his pockets, a curious collection of heterogeneous substances would be brought to the astonished view. The inquisitive in search of curiosities needs only to pay a visit to our large and public museums, and his sight will be regaled by articles answering to this type. It seems the end and aim of these institutions to secure something out of the common, and this desire is shared by not a few private individuals to a much greater extent than is commonly supposed. If a tradesman can make a collection of articles whose peculiarity is their only recommendation, and exhibit them in the show window to attract chance custom, he considers that the trouble is well repaid by the advertisement which he receives. Often has the writer stopped to view various collections as they are spread as a bait. One is often desirous of seeing a collection exhibiting the advertisement made in the manufacture of an article, and they often afford amusement as well as instruction. Just fancy the striking fixtures in the case of cycles. What a strange sight to see the old bone shaker and the various stages to the present silent, swift, and elegant cycle of today. With what satisfaction would the smoker view a collection of pipes, with all its multitudinous devices, shapes, and kinds, and so on, ad infinitum. Our curiosity shops are very plentiful, and a curious glance at the stock contained therein only reveals to one the fact that, on numerous points, there is a great deal to be learnt. But irrespective of the above, we would draw the reader's attention to a few collections which have been noticed from time to time, and which come within the scope of this article. At Warenstein in Germany there is particular one kind of the most curious original collections of books extant. This consists of a botanical collection. Outwardly the volumes present the common appearance of a block of wood, and that is the first impression. But a minute examination reveals the fact that each is a complete history of the particular tree which it represents. At the back of the book, the bark has been removed from a space which allows the scientific and common name of the tree to be placed as the title for the book. One side is formed from a split wood of the tree, showing its grain and natural fracture. The other shows the wood when worked smooth and varnished. One end shows the grain as left by the saw, and the other the finely polished wood. On opening the book, it is found to contain the fruit, seeds, leaves, and other products of the tree, the moss which usually grows upon its trunk, and the insects which feed upon the different parts of the tree. These are supplemented by a well-printed description of the habits, usual location, and manner of growth of the tree. In fact, everything which has a bearing on that certain tree secures a place in this wonderful, useful, and valuable collection. Here is a precedent for the various botanical societies to adopt, and although doubtless expensive, yet it would certainly repay in its utility. There are at present some very valuable curiosities in the shape of cherry stones, and were they collected in one locality it would doubtless enhance their value. In the Sailing Museum reposes one which contains 12 silver spoons. The stone is of the ordinary size, but the spoons are so small that their shape and finish can only be discerned satisfactorily by means of a microscope. But a more curious cherry stone is that upon which are inscribed 124 heads. This no doubt forms the most curious collection yet known, and the naked eye can easily distinguish those belonging to popes and kings by their mitres and crowns. It was bought in Prussia for $15,000, and thence conveyed to the home of curiosities, England, where it is considered an object of so much value that its possession was disputed, and it became the subject of a suit in chancellery. However, a toy maker of Nuremberg endeavored to eclipse this specimen by enclosing in a cherry stone, which was exhibited in the French Crystal Palace, a plan of Sestapol, a railway station, and the Messiah of Copelstock. How far he succeeded we leave the readers to determine. The most curious collections, however, are to be found made up of coins, and we have seen many of this kind, but the most extensive is undoubtedly to be seen at Nottingham at the present moment. It consists of a huge pile of perfectly new Jubilee half-crowns made up as a lighthouse-shaped pyramid. The whole is comprised under a glass case, and measures in height 6 feet, while the base is 5 feet 8 inches round, and the number of coins is 100,806. The weight is 1 ton, 800 weight, 14 pounds, 3 ounces, and the value is 12,600 pounds, 15 shillings. The banker's receipt for the payment of the money lies near the case, being conclusive proof of the authenticity and genuineness of the collection. But the foregoing illustrations are nothing when compared with the miscellaneous collections at Scotland Yard. There every housebreaking implement reposes in solemn grandeur, from the faithful jemmy to the dark lantern, and all the accessories of the modern Charles piece are to be seen. The contents of that museum are too numerous and too varied to be described, and only a visit secured only by a few can give any adequate idea of the scope and variety of the articles collected by the authorities. Ingenious tradesmen and speculators are always on the quo vive for such curiosities as can be secured, and when they are obtained, then they turn them into to good account for advertising purposes. We can only recommend our readers to look around and use the observing faculties which they possess, and it will astonish and surprise them to what an extent they exist. The numbers of collections of curiosities which we have seen by thus keeping our eye open would form an exceedingly long article, too long in fact for the present, and we can confidently assert that much amusement and instruction are to be derived in the search. The article refers to the Black Museum of Scotland Yard, and there's an article called The Black Museum in Chambers Journal, April 25th, 1895, which I should have. I'll take a look at it. Maybe it might be worth reading for tomorrow. That book collection sounds, I'm assuming it's real. I haven't had a chance to look it up. It'll be interesting to see if it's real and if it still exists. I'm not so sure if somebody putting together, 100,000 and some odd shillings or coins to create a lighthouse-shaped pyramid would be a collection. It would be more called a piece of art now. But I guess, somebody's collected something together and put it in a pile. It's a collection, I suppose, under the broadest terms. I found that kind of interesting. I don't know. I don't think, do I don't think shops use that anymore. They have display windows, but I don't think they display sort of a collection of things anymore. Maybe I just don't get it out enough. I don't know. But anyway, like your thoughts on it. Anybody else have you ever seen curious collections? Or odd collections, I suppose. Anyway, I'll end it there for today, and I'll be back tomorrow. And as I say, I'll check out the Black Museum in the 1885. I should have an 1885 issue, and see if that's worth reading. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow, BookTube. Bye.